the multiverse is a very confusing place. When you have thousands, if not millions, of dimensions all rolling in straight lines, you inevitably have a situation where they're going to collide. When that happens, occasionally both will just die. But sometimes, when two dimensions collide, they fuse. Today, I'm going to be covering some of the weirdest fusions that have happened throughout the multiverse. First, specifically covering a strange fusion being known as the Grandmaster Hand and his Tournament of Smash Champions or something along those lines. Means basically what he does is he takes different heroes, villains, etc. from throughout these fused universes and forces them to fight to the death. Honestly, it's quite entertaining. Now, in every version of the multiverse, or every version of the universe, there's some interpretation of the devil, Satan, whatever the hell you want to call him. Get it? Because hell, never mind. And in every one of these universes, he likes making deals. So when a man known as Douglas J. Blaze came along and asked him to spare one of his friends of dying of cancer, the devil in this universe named Mephisto agreed, as long as Douglas paid a price. Douglas then was transformed into a weird, fiery skeleton bounty hunter known as the Ghost Falcon. Luckily for Douglas, he had been a street racer during his time as a human, and these skills translated quite well into both bounty hunting and combat. The Grandmaster Hand plucked him out of obscurity and threw him into the ring, and he was one of the first of the 12 fighters. There's a few others, but we're going to cover each tournament as they pass. Now, in this new fused universe, there seemed to be multiple planets, each with their own quirks, personalities, difference in technology, and abundance of magic. However, one of these more magically infused worlds was able to produce one of its most terrifying inhabitants. See, once in the far-off planet of Thanendorf, there was a species known as the Eternal Gerudo. The Eternal Gerudo once had a prophecy that every 100 years, an inhabitant would be born with the rare Titan gene. Not only would this give them a differing physical appearance, but it would also make them far more powerful than their other Eternal Gerudo brethren. And eventually, this prophecy was fulfilled, and a man known as Thanendorf was born. Thanendorf was well loved by his community, and sought to do right by them. However, one day while visiting a neighboring city, he realized that his people, which had been long banished to the deserts of the land, were not thriving when compared to others living on the very same planet. He figured that it was due to an artifact known as the Infinity Force, a series of 6 triangles that could control all aspects of reality. So, with a vast army, Thanendorf invaded the rest of Titan Rule, attempting to gain these Infinity Force. However, he did not succeed. When he laid his hands upon the Infinity Force, they found him unworthy, and scattered amongst the planets. Now, Thanendorf still seeks those same pieces, going planet by planet, attempting to right the universe. The Ghost Falcon, when
Okay,
in
so when I
combat, can
first
use
got
a
the
variety
idea
of moves,
for,
but none
when I was
is
first
as
starting to come up with
terrifying
ideas
as
for the
penance
Smash Bros.
punch.
Marvel Fusion
The
episode,
penance
there were
punch
two immediately that
is,
came to
well,
mind.
it's a punch.
One you'll
But
see
not
later in
only
the
is a
episode,
punch that
and the other
lights
was
on fire and
Thanendorf.
becomes a flaming falcon,
The
hence the
Thanos
name.
Ganondorf.
It also burns
And
your
for the most
soul
part,
with every
I'm
sin
honestly
you've ever
surprised how well these
committed.
two mesh together.
Yes, you
Although looking
heard
at the
that
piece
right.
now, I do think that I might have taken a bit too much Ganondorf inspiration, like for the design itself. It just kind of looked like I took Ganondorf and gave him a palette swap to make him look more like Thanos. I don't know, maybe that's just me. But also, since I don't have a lot to say about this particular one, I'm gonna discuss some about the Ghost Rider Captain Falcon earlier, since I ran out of time to do any design notes on that. So funnily enough, drop something. Okay. So funnily enough, the Ghost Rider Captain Falcon was not the first Ghost Rider fusion I've drawn. A little while ago for Popcross Studios community redraw, I redrew. No, I didn't redraw. I originally drew a fusion between the Joker from DC Comics and the Ghost Rider. I'll probably show that on screen around here. Here. And that one actually ended up being one of the ones redrawn. And my goal for that one was to one up the Joker Ghost Rider. And I think I did do that. I got a lot better at drawing human skulls in the past year, and I've got a better technique of how to draw fire now. And of course, I had more time to work on the chains, etc. So overall, so far the episode's been going pretty well. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it.
Answer me this question. When you fuse one significantly shady government agency with another significantly shady government agency, what do you get? If you guessed a significantly shady government agency, you are correct. The Red Patriots, as it was known, is one of the most shady organizations I have experienced in all of my years guarding the multiverse. Yes. And their experiments have been very inhumane. However, I can give them props for this. One of their experiments may have created one of the best heroes known to their world. You see, once working for the Red Patriots was being known as the Boss Widow. She was an adept spy, soldier, basic all of that stuff. However, she eventually got older and retired, and none of the spies could match the foremost skills. So they decided to just reclone her, just recreate her out of pretty much nothing but a few strands of hair. And I will give them credit, they did. Through a series of experiments, they created a whole army using what they called the Widow Project. One of the most famous and late one that would go on to join the Smash Contest of Champion, whatever the heck I called it, was a being known as Solid Widow. Solid Widow, along with her twin sister, were one of these clones. However, she eventually escaped the facility, unlike her sister. She was given a seemingly impossible mission, one that no one thought could be possible, assassinating the boss widow herself. And she did immediately. Here, with this, she was able to join a team known as the Avengers, or whatever the weird equivalent. I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I did not do as much research. The lore for one of these universes is ridiculously complicated, and when they fused, they somehow got more complicated. Either way, here, she would later go on to join the Smash Tournament of Champions. She would later take a year off, but then rejoin the next year anyway, to thunderous applause from the audience. Oh, many powerful beings have entered the Smash Tournament of Champions. However, one entered the tournament that perhaps was a bit too powerful. Oh, this was Captain Rosalina. She started her life as a regular human, until she was accidentally caught up in a strange experiment, and regarding, strangely enough, one of the pieces of the Infinity Force. The group that was guarding the Infinity Force then took her in and started training her to be a fantastic warrior, as her memory was strangely wiped after the event. And this group was also at war with a group known as the Skalumas, a species of shape-shifting star-like entities. However, once she realized that in fact the Skalumas were innocent, and she quickly switched sides and turned against her former allies. At that point, she made it her life's goal to go and try to find a new homeworld for the Skalumas. That was until she was captured and placed into the tournament. At first, people were very mad at her inclusion, as she was very naturally powerful, and they thought it would be unfair, and lack the excitement that a fight to the death should bring. However, eventually, the Grandmaster Hand created two wrist bracelets known as the Bands of N.E.R.D that would, reduce her power, therefore making the fights more fair and even. This seemed to satisfy people, as by the next tournament no one was complaining about her inclusion, aside from a few individuals. In the vast multiverse, some weird stuff is bound to happen. And in this case, some of the absolute weirdest beings fused together to become one of the most scarily powerful. Oh, in the one universe that fused, there were these strange killer plants known as piranha plants, which could chop and eat people, etc. And in the other universe, there was another plant species known as the Flora Colossus, which could only communicate in the words, "I am Groot." And when the two universes fused, whatever the heck this thing came along with it. This is a being known as Fruit Hoot, which looks like somebody took a watermelon and made it evil. But surprisingly, its inclusion within this weird tournament thing was surprisingly well received. At first, when the Grandmaster Hand announced that a Fruit, of all beings, was coming into this tournament, everyone was shocked. It's a Fruit. It's not some even debate if it's a character more than it is just a species. Yes. However, as soon as it went into combat, people immediately turned their views on it. The moveset was unlike anyone had ever seen before. And the lovable, yet dim-witted creature, soon grew in the likes of many. In fact, a following soon started, known as the Plant Gang. Who only existed to cheer on this beloved creature. Honestly, it's one of my few favorites in this tournament. But still, this just goes to show that even something considered weird, odd, whatever, can still go on to be one of the most successful things in all of history.